My name's Lester Sulis, and I'm the international lobbyist for the Biafra Public Government in Exile. This will be the first in a series of broadcasts addressed to the people Biafra. I've been compelled to begin these broadcasts because of what I have seen, and it seems to me that Biafrans are in desperate need of guidance and insights, and my own spirit has guided me in this direction. We have seen much chaos and much confusion over the past few months in the Biafra space, and I've concluded one of the biggest issues is the, unfortunately, unreasonableness and inability to reason of some of our Biafran friends. So you could view this series as an educational opportunity where you can come and become educated and become enlightened and learn how to think properly and reason properly. Because this is one of the biggest issues that I've seen, and we need people in our movement to be thinking in a coherent manner if we are going to defeat the zoo, if we're going to defeat Nigeria, which are very formidable enemies. We can't be, opposing the zoo with no brain. We need to be smart. We need to be strategic. We have to be able to think in a coherent manner if we're going to take on these very serious and formidable adversaries. And unfortunately, we have the inability to reason, the lack of reasonableness, and also this tendency towards self-destruction as well amongst our Biafran friends. And I think, as I said in a previous interview broadcast, Biafrans have a unique combination of being one of the world's most talented people, intelligent people, but also extremely have a propensity towards extreme self-destruction and self-sabotage. And unfortunately, the enemies of Biafrans have a very good understanding of what the weaknesses of Biafrans are, and they are very adept at exploiting those weaknesses. So if we want to move past that, I encourage all Biafrans to begin listening to the broadcasts that I will be doing, to learn how to think logically, to think reasonably, in order to not constantly fall into these constant traps, the result of which is continued servitude to the zoo, to the Fulani, and to the British. Now, to be constructive here, I will address one topic today because the issues of foolishness, of lack of reasonability, of self-destruction are very, very multifaceted. It will require a lot of education imparted from me to make a difference in this area. So this requires more than one episode. This will have to be a constant dialogue between me and the Biafran people. But I will be focusing today on one particular area that I would like my Biafran friends to work on. Now, it's very interesting. Since I've been involved in this movement, since Divine Providence connected me with Simon, I've been witness to many saboteurs, to many people who have been causing problems. And in every experience that I have had, most of the people who have been problematic or who cause problems all have one personality trait in common, which I found very interesting. This is a very fascinating observation. They all had the personality trait, and again, they did not say this explicitly, right? They didn't come out and say this, but it just emanates out of them of, I am the king or I am the queen, and if I'm not in charge or if it's not me, then I must burn down everything and destroy everything. Now, where does this come from? We need to look at this sociologically. One of the reasons why Biafrans or the Igbo people are enormously successful is, as they like to say, you like to say, you are Republican in nature. Yes, you are what I would call part of an acephalous society, meaning without a head, right? So you come to decisions through consensus. You are much more democratic in nature than many of your neighboring counterparts. And because of that, you have a society that's based on achievement and individual initiative. And that's a primary reason why the Biafrans, the Igbos, are enormously successful. But as a mentor of mine once said, your strengths can also be your weaknesses, and your weaknesses can also be your strengths. So there are positives to this, but there are also potential downsides to this. One of the phrases that I found interesting that came up on several occasions was in Biafra land or in Igbo land, there is no king, there's no queen. Everyone is the king and queen of their own household, right? Now, this is very important. I think one of the problems is that people take this phrase of there is no king, there is no queen, everyone's the king or queen of their own household, right? And they completely misinterpret that or reinterpret that to I am the king and I am the queen, right? So because of this, you have some Biafrans who are very prideful, very egoistic, very conceited, to the point where, regardless of how naturally intelligent they may be, their conceit makes them daft and foolish. And because of that, they engage in these self-destructive activities. Because, right, if your attitude is, I'm the king, I'm the queen, the Americans have a phrase about someone's floating on cloud 9, but given my experience with Biafrans, these people are floating on cloud 100, right? So you have one person's a king, floating on cloud 100, I am the king. Another Biafran lady thinks they're the queen, floating on cloud 100. They're up there. There are other, let's say, Biafrans who think I'm the king, I'm the queen, also floating on cloud 100. The moment they intersect, invariably there's going to be a problem. One person says I'm the king, the other person says I'm the king. Invariably, they're going to start stabbing each other. They're going to start to do things against each other. They're going to start to try to undermine each other. There'll be jealousy. There will be envy. Out of that, there will be sabotage. And then you get into the very vicious and negative circle. Right? So that is a problem. And this is not a virtue. This is a very, very big weakness. And another problem that, Biafrans have that I've noticed is they try to portray everything about themselves as positive, including negative traits. This is not a positive trait. This is a very negative and self-destructive trait. This is actually one of your biggest problems. And this is what's leading you to a lot of your own self-destruction. So let's try to be constructive here, right? My challenge to Biafrans is this, and this is going to be very difficult for some of you people because of your very big pride and ego. Very, very difficult, but this will be very, very necessary. I want the Biafrans out there who have this mentality of I'm the king and I'm the queen and you're floating on a cloud to once a week try to go throughout the day dropping this mentality of I'm the king or the queen. Just try to do this one time a week. This will be enormously difficult, probably maybe more difficult than anything else you have done. Very, very difficult, not because it is difficult, but because you're so ingrained in this mentality. So try to go once a week, and believe me, in the beginning, this will be very, very painful. Now, once you're able to do once a week, then do twice a week, then do 3 times a week, going throughout those days without this mentality of I'm the king and I'm the queen and I'm floating on cloud 100. Now, if you keep doing this, eventually you will have a change in your mentality and you will become much more grounded. You'll become much more reasonable, be able to think much more rationally, and most importantly, a a lot of the problems that have plagued the Biafrans or the Igbos in terms of jealousy, backstabbing, sabotage, self-sabotage, I can guarantee you with this change will be reduced by at least 50%, right? Because a lot of the backstabbing, the jealousy, the self-sabotage, the sabotage of others comes from, oh, I'm the king, and because I'm not in charge, now all of a sudden I have to completely burn everything down, right? And we see this problem, right? The reason why, for example, you have DOS people who say, well, if Simon is helping achieve Biafra, then we'd rather not have Biafra, is exactly because of this mentality. And you see how destructive this mentality is in statements like that, where essentially because of this very foolish pride and egotism, you are completely acting against your own self-interest to the point where you're going to completely destroy the ultimate goal just because you don't like someone or, you're not the one doing it. So, this is a very big problem. I'm providing you a practical exercise, a spiritual exercise to address this problem. And, what I'm telling you here, I think has much more value than all those fake pastor evangelists, whatever they call themselves, in the zoo. As I've said, try going at first once a week without thinking I'm the king and I'm the queen and I'm the great whatever. Then do 2 times a week, then 3 times a week, and then all of a sudden in your day-to-day life, this mentality, which is a very foolish mentality, will be dropped, and you will be able to become more rational, more reasonable, and much less destructive to yourself and to others. So, this is something that I would like my Biafran friends to work on. I know it's not easy, but if we want Biafra, we must do this because we're in a difficult situation where not only do we have to save Biafrans from the zoo, save Biafrans from these adversaries, but we have to save Biafrans from themselves. So, let's begin working on this together. I think this will be a very good first step. And again, it's important that Biafrans come to these videos to be educated because, unfortunately, and I'm speaking very honest, and again, this is something, as we say, is tough love. Unfortunately, some of you just don't have any sense. Some of you have no sense, no reasonability, no rationality. And I think rather than simply criticizing some of you for being very, very confused people who don't know the difference between your left foot and your right foot, that it's my obligation to come out here to educate you so you can be enlightened. The only thing that you need is to come here with an open mind, to listen to what I have to say, to confess your own ignorance, and to understand that you must be educated and you must be enlightened in order to be saved from yourselves and also those who seek to destroy you. So I appreciate having this opportunity to communicate with you today, and I look forward to many future communications. Thank you and have a good day.